Hello my sweet reader friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video and welcome to a new beautiful day. Today I have a very fun video in store for us. Lately I have been in a little bit of a reading slump, I guess I would say. Everything that I've been picking up has just been a little bit meh. I have watched so many book recommendations videos. I have browsed Goodreads about a million times, and I have gone to Barnes & Noble more times than I would like to admit, even for me, in the last couple weeks, just trying to get that like giddy, excited, you know, like reading feeling. Trying to find good books to read, trying to find ones that just wouldn't be meh for me, you know? So after coming home from one of the many said Barnes & Noble trips, I was thinking, what better people to ask for book recommendations than the booksellers? So soon we are going to head over to my local Barnes & Noble because in today's video, booksellers will be controlling what I read for a week. I'm nervous for this video because A, I don't love filming in public. It's really awkward, and especially when I have like other people, especially strangers that I'm talking to in the video, it's just very like nerve-wracking. But I am so excited because I genuinely have no idea like what these people like to read and what they're going to pick for me. But because they are around books 24/7, and I'm sure they're huge readers themselves, I'm sure what they pick is going to be great. But the question of the video is, can Barnes & Noble employees be trusted? We are going to find out. Okay, come. Literally all day I've been like pacing my room. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. These are just like normal people. So we are now at the bookstore, and I have my booksellers right here. This is Hannah. Me and Hannah actually go way back. We went to what elementary school? I was like, I can't even remember like when it was we went to school together, but we do know each other, so I'm very excited to see like what she picks. And then over here, Anna. Yeah. Okay, we have a Hannah and an Anna, so I'm like, okay. So we have Anna, and then over here, I'm so sorry for
You're good. It's Kembry.
Kembry?
Kembry, yes.
Okay, Kembry. So we have Kembry, Hannah, and Anna. How long have you been working at this bookstore?
I've been working here since November 2021. 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And then October 2021.
Okay, oh, so 2021?
Yep.
I started the same day as Anna.
No way. So
But we both also left for the same amount of time and then also came back. So
I also left and came back.
For school, right?
I left for work and then I came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just left. And now I'm back.
No, literally, me and Eve were like, we've probably applied here a few times just because we just like to read so much, and like the discount would be so nice. Yeah. So what genres do you usually like to read?
I read primarily literary fiction. Okay. So, but mainly like I like books about like the human experience, like in literary fiction under that umbrella.
I've been like in the mood for that stuff lately too. So
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very interesting. Okay, what do you usually read?
A lot of fantasy. And then I do a lot of like literary fiction as well, but I also really like horror quite a bit. I kind of do everything. So
Yeah.
What are you?
I like sci-fi, dystopian. I do not like literary books, unfortunately. That is not, I'm not on that side yet. Yep. I like mysteries. I like to keep it pretty basic.
I love how we have like a really good mix though. Like we have people who kind of like different genres and stuff, so I'm like, ooh. Okay, so me and these two have never met, so I don't know. I mean, now I know like they like to read, but before I didn't know, so now I'm very intrigued to see like what they pick. Okay, who wants to go first?
I can go first because my book is closest.
Okay.
Because my book is closest. Okay.
I'm
so nervous.
No, I'm literally nervous. I wonder if it's like one that I have too. That's what I was thinking this whole time. I'm like, what if I have that book? The Goodreads?
we're stalking your Goodreads.
This is my recommendation. Do you have it already?
Okay, so I have it, but I haven't. It's on my TBR for fall.
Okay, perfect.
So
well, then
I'm
you
like,
don't even
this
need to
is
buy it.
literally perfect. Okay, so this one is Project Hail Mary by, was it Andy
Weir.
Weir. I thought it was Wire. So
I say Weir.
Right. Where?
I have no idea. Andy something.
I'll have to look it up. So this one is a sci-fi. Is it a thriller? Like a sci-fi thriller?
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Okay.
It's classified under sci-fi, but it's definitely thriller.
Yeah.
Esque also, yeah.
I'll like go into it more what it's about later because I don't know if I could explain it right now.
No, probably not.
But okay, I'm very excited for this one because like I said, it's been on my TBR for a while, and actually I went to Portland with some other like booktubers, and Allie Good actually recently read this one, like recommended. She was like,
oh,
that you
really?
have to read this one. So I was like, people have been recommending this to me left and right, so I'm very excited to actually
Look at me go.
get to it. Yeah, look at you.
I want it. Look
So
at
proud.
That.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to Anna's. We're going to YA. I've been in a YA. This is another one that's been
I have a necklace for it, and I'm getting a tattoo for it. It's my most favorite book, like ever. Because I was gonna recommend you If We Were Villains, but then you already
I've read it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which I did like that one as well. So that would have been a good choice.
That's like I think my top book, but this is very close second. beloved. I think you'll love it.
I do
Enemies
also
to
have this
Lovers.
one.
I figured it's Grumpy Sunshine, Enemies to Lovers, and it's perfect.
Yay!
It's just perfect.
That's what I've heard, and I think this is actually another one. Well, so a few videos ago that I did, it was like choosing booktubers like 5-star reads or something, and this has been so many people's 5-star reads. So it was like one that I have been like, I need, like, why have I not read this yet?
And
so,
the second one made me bawl my eyes out. It's like in a good way though.
Yeah.
It's just so like
wholesome and
it's
stuff.
just perfect. And we have the cool special edition as well. So if you want
Wait,
that
do you
one.
actually? I'm like, wait, maybe I'll get that one. Now we're gonna go to Hannah's.
I have a hard time picking a book because I know you don't like anything too sad.
Dude, you
And
guys
I
are
love
picking.
sad books, so this is a not, well, it is kind of sad, but not like devastating sad. But so good. It's like magical realism, magical labyrinths,
Yes.
honey sea, like there's a little bit of hidden library type. It's a story about stories, so I feel like you have to love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which I also have. Okay, wait. I need to actually buy the physical copy. Well, I have both of them on my Kindle, but I need to buy. So maybe I'll just buy the physical copy while I'm here.
Both of these are great, but this one's my favorite. I think, Anna, which one did you prefer?
I prefer the Night Circus.
Yeah, it just
I've
depends.
heard it either way, but which one did you read first? I
We
feel
buddy
like
read this. Was our
sometimes.
first buddy read.
This is how we became friends.
Wait, this is so sentimental. I love this so much. Yeah, because I feel like sometimes it depends. Like with authors, I feel like it depends on like which one you read 1st. It like will be your favorite one.
I think I would have liked this more than I did if I hadn't read this one first.
See,
Because
that's what I'm
this
saying.
story just hits different for me.
Yes.
But this is still good.
This is one, I don't know if it was on my TBR for this month or if it was just in my fall TBR books, but I, like, this is another one that I've been, like, talking about
It's perfect
for
this time of
so
year.
long.
Very vibey. Very fall.
Okay, so we have all of our books. It was literally so perfect. So perfect. You guys did such a good job.
Yeah, we've been stressed.
I was stressed too. I was more anxious because I'm weird and I'm like, I don't want like other people to be like, who is this weird girl taking up my time?
No.
So
I think it's book people,
We
though,
work in a
'cause, like, I feel
bookstore,
like we
so
all
we
have
get
that
it.
weirdness.
that's like the theme I feel like of this year though is like, and I just posted a story about this and I was like just embracing my like oddballness because I feel like sometimes especially like with like content creation and stuff you can feel like really judged, so you have to like feel like you have to put on a certain front and
Yeah.
stuff, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna like be myself and
Yeah.
We're freaks, but like when we're together, and then it seems like everyone else is a freak, and we're normal.
yes,
Because we're like looking at everybody like,
Like this is just
like why aren't you weird too?
Because
Yeah.
then they're the odd ones. Then.
Yes.
And it's like you're weird.
Yes, and then you just
You're
invite them and you're like,
not
let's all
fun.
be weird together.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You
That's
know?
what it is.
Oh, I love you guys.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yeah.
This was
This
actually
is so
literally so
fun.
fun. I'll have to make this like a bi-monthly thing or
Oh my god.
something.
Well, we're not going anywhere, so.
Yes.
Don't worry.
we'll be here.
We'll be here.
Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna buy that one. We're gonna be here for a while too, like
Oh, yeah,
just
of course.
looking around.
Might as
So
well.
thank you.
Oh, I should want to see the other one.
I'm so excited. I swear you guys are gonna think that we like premeditated this because of how well they did. I did give Hannah my Goodreads beforehand just so that she could see what I have and have not read yet. But other than that, they chose all of these books because they themselves have like really loved them. But literally all of these books have been on my TBR for so long, and they've been ones that, like I said before, I've been needing to read for so long. First of all, I was literally just talking about this book in one of my other videos and how much I wanted to read it. And then I also have Project Hail Mary on my little TBR cart right here. And then I also have right next to it Dance of Thieves. So, Dance of Thieves is a YA fantasy romance. It follows our main characters from two formidable outlaw families. This is a little bit enemies to lovers. I've heard nothing but good things, and I've actually talked about this book a few times in a few different videos because it is just one that is so popular. Same thing with Hail Mary. This is a very, very, very popular book in the sci-fi genre. And this is one, if you did see my like booktubers trip to Portland video, this was Allie's pick for my other video that I did while I was there, which was my book roulette video. It's about a guy named Rylan Grace, and he is the sole survivor of a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. But I believe he wakes up in space, like in a spaceship of some sort. Spaceship? I don't think that's the right word. What are we, aliens? What's it called? Is it a spaceship? Oh my gosh, am I... What is happening to my brain right now? Anyway, he wakes up in space. His crewmate is dead. His memories are fuzzy. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, so maybe it is a spaceship. He must puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. Project Hail Mary is a tale of discovery, speculation, and survival to rival The Martian while taking us to places it never dreamed of going. I haven't read The Martian yet, which I don't know. I don't think you have to read The Martian before you read Project Hail Mary, but I think it maybe might help the reading experience. I don't know. And then The Starless Sea is an adult, I think it's like fantasy, maybe a tiny bit, but it's like think magical realism fiction, but it follows our main character who, he like goes down into a library of some sort or something, and he finds a book with a story that is like from his actual life. So he goes on this journey of trying to like figure out I don't know where this came from, I guess. I'm really bad at explaining books. If you want the full synopsis, go look it up on Goodreads, I guess. But like Hannah was saying, it's very magical, like the fall vibes are immaculate. I don't know which one I want to read first. That is like the issue at hand and the thing that I'm struggling the most with, because these are all books that I really want to read right now and they are all roughly the same length. I don't know what is up with me lately, but I have only been picking up books that end up being a lot longer than what I'm used to. Dance of Thieves is just over 500 pages. The Starless Sea is about 550, and Project Hail Mary is about 480, so they are roughly all around, if not over 500 pages. So the question that remains is, do I want a YA fantasy romance? Do I want a magical realism type of book with nice vibes? Or do I want a really intense sci-fi? I am very grateful for the fact that these are all like very different books, because say if they were all like romance books, I do not think I would have done this challenge, because I can't do that. I'm gonna ponder on it for a little bit and see what my little brain wants to pick up, so I'll update you then. So I'm going to be going between physical copy and audiobook for these reads. Are you going to come work out with me? Because A, I work a desk job, and B, I read books on YouTube for a living, so I don't get enough exercise within the day. Plus, I have really bad gym anxiety, so I prefer to do my workouts at home, where today's sponsor, Trainwell, comes super in handy.
Trainwell is an app that combines the personalization and accountability of a human expert with the flexibility of technology. You get a virtual trainer who customizes guided workouts to your goals, schedules, and injuries, so you can work out anywhere, anytime. Like I said earlier, because of the nature of my career, I don't get enough exercise throughout the day. And if you've been around for a while, I've talked about some of the health issues that I've been really struggling with over the last couple of years. And because of those health issues, it's been really hard for me to gain and maintain a healthy weight and just exercise in general, because my body has been very weak and fragile, which is where I really appreciate where Trainwell tailors each workout routine to a specific person's needs. It definitely makes it a lot less intimidating. If you want to get started on your fitness goals, you can get a 14-day free trial with a personal trainer using the link in my description. Thank you so much to Trainwell for sponsoring today's video, and don't make fun of me for using my wired headphones. I don't have AirPods and my big headphones give me a headache, okay? I'm already tired.
Hello, sweet friends. So I could not decide out of these three books which one I wanted to read first. So I put a little poll up on my Patreon, and most of the people chose Dance of Thieves. So I am reading Dance of Thieves first. I actually already have read a little bit of it. I got to page 85 over the last couple days. I've been really like distracted and not necessarily like super busy, but I just like cannot for some reason like sit down and read. And I also feel like because it's like a thicker book and the font is actually pretty small, it's like just taking me a lot longer to read for some reason, but I am really liking it so far. This was Anna's pick at the bookstore. I feel like this is gonna be one of those books, well, I'm not very far into it yet, but I feel like it's gonna be one of those books where like, it's like an enemies to lovers kind of, but they don't ever really feel like enemies, you know? I'm loving this forced proximity in the first like chunk of this book. I'm just finding it so fun, and I do really like these characters so far. I also really love how we get both point of views, so we get hers and his. I don't know why, but it really bothers me sometimes in fantasy books when we only get one POV, because then I feel like we don't really get to know the other character that much. So it is said that you should read the, I think it's called the Remnant Chronicles. It's the Kiss of Deception series, and I've heard that you should read that before you go into Dance of Thieves, but I've also heard that it's not like a big deal if you don't. Reading through this though so far without reading the Kiss of Deception, I already do feel like there is some things just with like the world building that I'm not completely understanding, that I feel like probably was explained more in the Kiss of Deception series. Like they'll just mention like places and kind of like their systems, and they don't really like explain much on that, which makes me feel like that's probably why some people say to read that series first before going into this one, just so you get like that full world building experience, I guess, and just some more background. But it's not like super hard to understand. I feel like just some points when they do talk about certain things, I'm just a little bit lost. But yeah, so far really enjoying this book. Very excited to read more of it. I just am, yeah, reading it a little bit slow, but I'm going to get all cozy this evening and hopefully binge read some of this book. I am trying to read at least 100 pages a day. So I put these little tabs to like show myself where I can stop each day, or if I feel like reading, I can keep reading still, but I'm just trying to set like goals for myself. But yeah, going to get all cozy and read for the remainder of the evening. What did they do to you, Cassie? His voice was low, earnest. Even in the dim light, I was able to see the worry in his eyes. I pretended I didn't know what he was talking about. Who did what? Who made you afraid of an open world, an open sky? Was it Venda, your parents? No one did anything, I answered quietly. Then hold on to me, he said. Let me show you the stars. I am screaming. This may become one of my favorite books. I just love them so much. It has been rainy and chilly and cozy and 60 degrees all morning. Well, all day, I guess I'd say, because it's like 5 p.m. now, and it has just been the most glorious thing. It finally actually feels like fall where I live instead of being 90 something degrees in September. So it's just been such a great little like cozy reading day. I have gotten now to page 230, and so far I'm still absolutely loving this book. But I will say, when they came back from their little venture, I guess I would say, try not to do spoilers here, I just felt like it got kind of slow. But I also feel like that time, like the first 100 or so pages, we were like really getting that connection between our two main characters, and we were kind of just like more focusing on the romance part of it. And then now I feel like it's kind of the opposite, where we're more trying to focus a little bit on the plot, but I'm also kind of confused as to what the plot actually is. Like throughout this whole book, I was a little bit confused even in the beginning, like why Cassie was going into the Ballinger territory, but now I understand because it was kind of more explained later on. But it took me a while to like really get like what the problem was, and I still don't even really, you know, like when you're reading a book and you just don't really know like where the story's going, like you don't really know what the problem is or what we're trying to like figure out, but there are some things that are like starting to happen that don't add up, you know, like something's fishy here. So I'm assuming that we are going to see all that unfold here pretty soon. I have just always had this weird thing with books that are over like 400 pages where I just don't feel like they need to be that long, and I feel like some of these pages, some of these chapters definitely don't really add a whole lot to the story, but it's still fun. Like I haven't ever felt like bored or anything. I just am, like I said, reading it a little bit slow, and the plot itself is a little bit slow. Like I'm just not really, like I said, understanding kind of like where the story's going, and not a whole lot has happened in the last 100 pages, like since they came back from their little venture, I guess. I have really enjoyed seeing Cassie like within the Ballinger family and how they're kind of like growing on her in a way, but I don't know. I also feel like there's just something going on behind the scenes, you know? You know when you feel like things are too good to be true? That's kind of like how I'm feeling with this. I don't know how I feel. I'm almost halfway though. So things I'm assuming are going to start picking up here pretty soon. I don't know why, but lately I have been obsessed with chocolate almond milk. So like my bedtime snacky snack, or just like my reading snacky snack, has been iced chocolate almond milk and Skinny Pop sea salt popcorn. Oh, so good. Anyway, I got to page about 391, and I'm still very much enjoying this story so far. Although I will say, I can't remember if I said this last time or not, but I still feel like I'm missing a lot when it comes to like the world building. So I am very interested to go into the Kiss of Deception series whenever I get to it. The plot line is still, I don't know, like the pacing is still very slow right now, but because we are kind of hitting that like 80% point, I feel like now it's hopefully going to like really pick up. I also kind of feel like this book is more character driven versus like plot heavy, you know? And it's a lot lower stakes than I thought it would be. Like I thought this book was going to be very high stakes, and although there has been like a few little intense scenes sprinkled here and there, it hasn't been like a very high stakes read. The beginning was really fun, and then like this whole middle chunk has just gone pretty slow, but I'm not having a bad time. Like I'm still enjoying the story, and I love like the connections between the characters. I love the atmosphere of the story. I just do feel like it's kind of lacking in plot right now, which I still don't even understand like the importance of like finding this person that they're trying to look for in the Ballinger territory, because whatever happened 6 years ago. So I'm still really lost as to like why are we just now like on this huge mission to find this person, and we haven't really gotten, like we've gotten a few pages throughout the whole story of like why this person's important, and like I just feel like the whole plot of the story is like her going into the Ballinger territory to like find this person. Like she has a mission, right? And I feel like this mission just kind of gets like forgotten about, and it's kind of just like thrown in here and there. So again, just kind of like confused on the plot, and just don't really feel like it's as like intriguing as I thought it was going to be, but what it lacks in plot, it is making up in characters and just like the interactions, the banter, because I'm still loving it. I'm still really enjoying this book. If I were to end it now, I would rate it probably like 4 stars, but I still have the whole ending to go, which, like I said, I feel like is going to really pick up here in a minute. So I'm going to get all cozy and hopefully finish this book tonight. What? Okay, I just finished Dance of Thieves. I keep wanting to call it Divine Rivals for some reason. Like every time I go to say the book's name, I always want to say Divine Rivals. Not the same book. Everything was fine, right? Everything was going good. And then literally the last page, obviously something's going on, which makes me intrigued for the next book, but also, what? I think that I'm going to rate this a 4-star? Question mark. So here's what I liked about this book. I love the characters. As I said that before, I think that this book is very much like character, dialogue, relationships heavy and not so much like plot focus, which is very subjective. That is only my opinion. And the reason I say that is because I feel like with the plot itself, if we saw more of the captain or like the person that we were trying to capture throughout this book, if we got, I mean, we did get some background, but I just felt like I was very disconnected from that plot because I just didn't really see the importance of it in the story. I felt like it was kind of just an afterthought. Therefore, like when the climax was supposed to be happening in the book, I just didn't really care because I never really like got invested into that part of the story. I did love seeing the way that the Ballinger family was kind of like taking in Cassie and Ren and Sinove. That was really sweet. And I know that sometimes in the book they were a little bit like skeptical of their intentions, but they still were just a very like sweet family to them. And I did, like I said before, really enjoy seeing like that family grow on Cassie. I just feel like there was some things in this book where if it was done a little bit differently, it could have been so good. But I still really like this book. Like I'm still giving it a 4-star. I did like how it had a happy ending as well. I really hate when books like they get you so attached to the characters and the relationships and then it just ends on like a really, really bad negative note, you know? So I do like how this has a happy ending for the most part, except for the last page. Anyway, now that this book is done, I'm going to choose between the other 2 books I have. So we have Starless Sea and Project Hail Mary. I don't know what I'm in the mood for right now because this was a little bit lower stakes than I thought it was going to be. I'm kind of in the mood for something that is high stakes, and I feel like Project Hail Mary is kind of a more intense book versus the Starless Sea is more of like a very atmospheric, like magical book, and I think I'm in the mood for something more like high stakes. So I think I might pick up Project Hail Mary now. I don't really have plans for the rest of the day. My plans are to just do this video and read these books, but I have been really wanting and needing to get out of the house more lately, so I think I might go either to a coffee shop or maybe go read at the park or something. Hello friends, I lied to you just a little bit. I changed my mind and I actually realized that I am in the mood for something very magical and whimsical and fun. So I decided to pick up The Starless Sea next. And I ended up getting about 100 pages in last night. Well, and today. And oh my gosh, this book is so magical. It is so, the atmosphere, so good. Although it is snowing in this book, they only mention the snow a handful of times. And aside from that, it does feel very fall. It also feels a little bit like dark academia because in the beginning they are at college, I think, or university, I guess I would say. I am loving this book so far. A lot of people have told me that Erin Morgenstern's writing is more like atmosphere and vibes than it is plot. But so far I'm actually really enjoying the plot of this story. Again, I'm only in the first 100 pages and there's about 550 pages of this book. So I know that at some point the plot is probably going to slow down. But from what I read so far, it's pretty like fast paced and I'm just having a really good time. We pretty much just jump right into the plot, which is what I really enjoy. There isn't a lot of like fluff or added nonsense in the beginning, which also makes me a little bit nervous that it's going to be added like in the middle when I need it to be fast paced. I don't know, but so far every single time I get back into this book, I feel like I'm just being like completely transported into this world, and it is the most amazing feeling. I've been in a weird little slump for a while and I feel like this is kind of starting to pull me out of it, just because I am getting that like more magical like giddy feeling, which I was already feeling like I was getting pulled out of my slump from Dance of Thieves because I really enjoyed that book as well. But I think there was just a little part of me that was like really needing something like very magical, you know? And this is just scratching that itch that I have. Ew, that sounds really gross. It's feeding that desire. How about that? That sounds better. I am trying to get this video posted soon-ish, and I still have all of this book and Project Hail Mary to read, so tonight I literally am going to just sit down and read a huge chunk of this. I feel like I say that every single time I update you guys, but then my ADHD kicks in and I get like, sidetracked. But tonight, I'm just a little bit sleepy. And I'm just feeling like getting all cozy. Lately, I just have not been able to like sit down and read, but I feel like this book is so magical that I actually like want to like jump back into the world, you know? So I got all of my work done that I needed to earlier today so that I could have my schedule clear for the rest of the evening, and I am very much looking forward to it. I have gotten to page 232 in The Starless Sea. I'm so sleepy. Literally over the last like hour, every single time I start reading, I'm like, I'm falling asleep. So I did take a little nap, hence why my hair is all crazy. So far, still really enjoying this book, but I feel like we were just going back and forth between like present time, and then we go into like a couple different stories. In this book, our main character has Sweet Sorrows, which is the book with his story in it. And then there's other stories or other books that have like a compilation of stories in them. And throughout this book, we are going back and forth between Zachary's like point of view kind of and what's going on in like that timeline. And then we are also getting these chunks of stories from these other books that are in this book, if that makes sense. And I'm sure it'll all kind of come together throughout the book, but right now I'm just like failing to understand how some of these stories, like what some of these stories have to do with the book and the plot itself, and it's starting to get a little bit confusing, like trying to follow all the stories that have been told. But whenever we are in the like present time with our main character, I love the story. I'm loving the plot line. It's still so beyond magical. It's pretty fast paced, honestly, and a bit thrilling at times, which I think is really fun. Because these books are a lot longer than I'm used to, it's taking me a little bit longer to read all of them. But today is the most like cozy day. I've literally just been laying in bed with my fuzzy blanket, my sweats, my cozy t-shirt. I got my squish right here. And we have just been hanging out and taking naps and reading. And it's been a lovely afternoon. I am trying to finish this book by tomorrow. Don't know if that's realistic for me, but we're gonna do our best. Can I tell you what this book is about? Not really. Am I thoroughly enjoying it? Oddly enough, yes. I'm on page 488 of The Starless Sea. I'm almost done with it. I feel like I've been reading this book for years. I have just under 100 pages left. I have so much to say about this book, but also literally what the heck is going on? Like, I'm so lost, but also not. Like, this book makes absolutely zero sense and so much sense at the same time. So I have like so many conflicting feelings because I'm like, I feel like all of the feelings that I have, I also have the counterpart to those feelings. Because part of me is like, okay, this book literally does not need to be nearly 600 pages, but then I'm also like, I have loved, as confused as I have been sometimes, I have loved every single part of this book. I don't really know how I have those feelings at the same time. I feel like this is a book that I'm going to have to reread because the first time around you just get all of the like whimsical, magical, you know, types of things, but there's still so much depth and like complexity to the book that it's like you almost need to read it a second time to like really fully understand the whole of it. This book also doesn't really follow like your average plot line, you know? Like, I feel like this story is a story about stories. This book is a compilation of different characters' lives being part of this very magical, reality-bending fever dream world, and I don't even know, like, I genuinely cannot even explain it, but I'm loving it, but I'm not understanding it, but I'm enjoying it, and it's so confusing for my brain. Anyway, I'm going to finish these last 100 pages and then I will give you like my full final thoughts. I just want to do a little update because I haven't updated you guys in a long time. And I've read a lot of pages since the last time that I updated, but I'm going to finish this now, so wish me luck. Well, let's get situated here. Okay, friends, I just finished The Starless Sea. I need to stare at a wall for the next 3 to 5 business days to process what the heck this book was about. I don't think I've ever been so moved and so confused simultaneously in my entire life. There is so many pieces and parts to this book that I don't necessarily, to their fullest extent, know what their purpose was. This is a book full of stories that all somehow have something to do with each other, but don't all quite fit in your average plot line. This book is very poetic, it's very lyrical, it's very allegorical, very metaphorical. The feeling that I get like reading this book is the sparkle emoji. It's all like la-di-da-di-da-di-da. It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. It's a fever dream of a novel that in my brain, like I can't even fully comprehend, but that I find so fascinating and complex. And although I don't fully understand it, I want to. There was a lot of points in this book where it felt like a lot of fluff and a lot of that, you know, but it kept me so intrigued. And even though, like I said, I didn't understand it fully, I still felt so moved by it. And it's just like the most confusing feelings to have at the same time. I have genuinely never read a book like this before, and it was just so interesting because like I genuinely don't even know like what to do with myself now. Like I don't know how my brain is going. I need to sleep on this because I'm just like stuck in La La Land right now. This book is very much Alice in Wonderland-esque, where you're like going down this rabbit hole into this world where you don't know what's a dream and what's reality. At some points you're like, what the heck is going on? Like this is nonsense, but at the same time it's not. That literally doesn't even make sense. There's a few quotes that I want to read from this book just to like kind of give you an understanding of what I'm talking about, just with like how this book is written. Somewhere there is a door marked with a crown and a heart and a feather that has not been opened. He can see it right in front of him, shimmering in the shadows. Someone holds a key that will open it. Beyond the door there is another harbor on the starless sea, alive with books and boats and waves washing against stories of what was and what will be. Zachary follows the stories and the ship as far as he can, and then he brings them back to right here and right now, to this snow-covered moment that is once again surrounded by a forest covered in keys. I don't know if that sentence, like that paragraph, makes any sense to anybody else, but to me, like when I read that, I'm just like, what the heck is happening? But I'm also like, wow, that's so beautiful. So I don't know what to do with that. Another little paragraph that kind of just like very much puts into words like how this book feels is, it says, I don't know what you're supposed to do when you find what you didn't know you were looking for and you weren't even certain it existed anyway, and then suddenly you're sitting on the floor of an abandoned Canadian library face to face with it. It's just that part where it says, when you find what you didn't know you were looking for and you weren't even certain it existed anyway. It's like, I feel like this book is just, it's for the people who dream of elsewhere. It's for the people who believe that fairy tales are real. It's for the people with these massive imaginations. And I feel like growing up, I was one of those people who would believe that these other like fairy tale worlds exist. And I would almost like conjure up these entire worlds in my mind, and it's for the dreamers and for the poets. And I genuinely just don't even know like what other words to describe this book with. I don't know, but that's probably one of the craziest reads I've ever done, just because of how different it was and like how crazy my experience was with this and like just all the conflicting and all just the feelings in general that I have around this book. Rating wise, I think I'm going to give it a 4-star. I don't even know exactly how to rate it because like I said, I didn't really understand a lot of it, but I also was just so moved by it. And so I don't even know. I don't know. But now that that is done, I'm not going to start anything tonight because my brain genuinely just needs a hard reset after that. But tomorrow I'm going to be picking up Project Hail Mary. And after a read like that, I feel like Project Hail Mary is going to be really nice because it's just a different genre. It's something a little bit more like high stakes and fast paced. You know, it's just different. And I feel like I just need something different right now. So very much looking forward to that. But for now, I'm going to go eat dinner and give my brain that reset. And so we'll check back in tomorrow. I'm only 20 pages in, 1 chapter, and I have already laughed out loud and my jaw has dropped at least twice. Yeah, Squish. That's what I'm saying. I have a feeling that this is gonna be a really good book. I love that it literally sucked me in from the beginning. That doesn't happen super often. I already love Andy Weir's writing. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I just have to say, I love our main character. He's hilarious. And I feel like, I mean, not that I would ever be put in this situation, but like, if I was ever put in a situation like this is how I would react. Like his external dialogue also is hilarious. This author really has a way of using like a really complex situation and making it like digestible and funny, which I'm loving. So far there is like a lot going on and there's a lot of like scientific talk, which I'm not like 100% fully understanding, but I feel like if you're not a scientist, you're probably not gonna 100% fully understand that. But it's digestible enough to where I'm like not totally lost, you know? I'm on page 121, about 26% of the way through. I'm trying to get to at least page 150, if not 200 pages read tonight, because I have to finish this book in 2 days and my brain hurts. I counted the pages and well, I don't know if I'm 100% correct, maybe give or take a few pages, but in this video, I have to read 1,500 and I think 58 pages in a week. I am not reading a book that is over 350 pages for a very long time. But at the same time, this has kind of gotten me over my fear of bigger books. I really don't like to read books that are over 400 pages, but having to read books that are nearly 500 pages or over 500 pages for the last week, it's really made me realize that I can do anything. It's given me a lot of confidence in my reading journey. But anyway, I'm gonna try and finish at least 30 to 50 more pages tonight. And then I'm gonna go to bed because it's getting late and I'm getting sleepy. I did not expect to cry in this book. I thought it was just gonna be all science and good times, and nope. Although it is very funny, it's very entertaining. I think I'm teared up and cried at least twice now. It's just... I can't say why without having spoilers, but let's just say there is a specific character in this book, and the conversations and the things that this character says sometimes. I just love it so much. I'm 50% of the way through. Why do I feel like it's so dark? I'm 50% of the way through, and I still have about 200 pages left, and I'm going to be so sad when this book is done. I'm enjoying it that much. There has not been a single moment in this book where I have been bored, where I have not liked what was going on. It is a lot of information sometimes, and I don't fully understand all the sciencey stuff still, but it's like I said, digestible. And I'm just absolutely loving it. And I can definitely see this book becoming a new, like, all-time favorite, like, 5-star read. Don't know how it's gonna end, so maybe it's a little bit too early to be saying that. But from how I'm feeling for the first 50% of the book, 5 stars. 5 stars so far. Oh my goodness. I want to cry. I'm gonna cry. I am so sad that this book is over. I need a minute to articulate my feelings. Ugh. This book is not at all what I thought it was going to be. First of all, when going into this book, I thought that it was going to be like a very high stakes, intense, like heavy sci-fi book, right? And not that because it's very fast paced, it's very intense, but it's more in like a cozy way. Like I would almost say that this is kind of like cozy sci-fi, but that's kind of just like how I read it. I don't know if that's how other people feel who have read this book, but this book was entertaining, it was cute, it was funny, it was super fast paced. There was literally not a single page of this book that I wasn't like itching to get to, and like every single time I left this book to like go do something or go to work or you know whatever, every time I stopped reading I wanted to pick it back up. I fell in love with these characters. I don't think I've ever been so in love with characters in a book. Well, I wouldn't say ever, but in a very, very long time. The science-y stuff, I will say, kind of went over my head, but I also feel like it was thorough enough to where I, like, understood kind of what was going on. Like, enough to, like, have a good time and, like, kind of understand, like, the gist of things. There were times where it was slower because we are pretty much, like, going through, except for, like, certain parts here and there, we are going through, like, step by step what these characters are doing. So there were some points in the book where I did feel like I could like skim and didn't like miss anything, but I have never had a nearly 500 page book where I want more pages. Like I could have read another 300 pages of this book because I just love these characters so much. I need a book too. That's all I'm saying is I need a book with these characters in this world. I don't care. I want more of this. This is a 5-star read. For sure. Of the 3 books that I read in this video, I think that this one would be my favorite, but I also really enjoyed the other 2 in different ways because they are very different books. But for like my overall rating and overall enjoyment, I think this one was my favorite. I really loved the ending of this book too. I just love a good happy ending. I'm also a huge Beatles fan, like the band The Beatles, and I just absolutely love that this book had like little things about the Beatles in it. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the dedication, so I love that. I love this author's writing. And now I'm definitely going to be picking up his other book, which I think he only has 2 other ones, and one is The Martian, and I'm not sure what the other one is. Artemis? I don't know, but now I really, really want to pick up his other books because I just enjoyed this one so much. It was so sweet and tender, which is not what I would have thought from this book. There really isn't a whole lot that I can say without like spoiling things, so I'm just gonna leave it at I absolutely love Rocky so much. If you've read the book, you know who I'm talking about, but there was just something about like that type of character that gets me every time, and just the relationships that were formed were just so wholesome, and I will never get over it. I will never get over these characters. I will never get over this book. It was just so good. But now that I am done with Project Hail Mary, that is the end of this vlog. I have successfully read I almost said 5,000. I have successfully read 1,558 pages, roughly, in the last, I think it's been a little bit over a week. I think it's maybe been like 8 days, but that is very impressive for me. I don't think I've read that much in 1 week, roughly, ever. So I'm very proud of myself, gonna tap myself on the back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it. I had such a good time. This is honestly probably one of my favorite videos I've ever filmed, and I got a lot of really good books read from it, especially ones that have been on my TBR for so long. Like, I keep saying Divine Rivals. Dance of Thieves, Project Hail Mary, and The Starless Sea have all been on my priority TBR for so long, so I'm glad that like this video was the push that I needed to like get them read, and now I have a new favorite book out of it. I will have to make this video idea like a monthly, bi-monthly thing because this was so fun. I love you guys so much. I'm going to now give my brain a little break to reset after all of that reading, so I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah!